On camera, she laughed while she badgered her staff. And so all good things must end, and also the Ellen DeGeneres show. Yes, the 83-year-old entertainer just announced that the upcoming 19th season of her show will be its last. Apparently, she created a workplace more toxic than an Amazon warehouse in Chernobyl. Countless allegations surfaced last summer that the show's work environment was rife with harassment and discrimination. Following those charges, Ellen's ratings dropped faster than Kevin Spacey's pants at a boy band pool.
Ellen DeGeneres always preached, be kind. But Megyn Kelly and Greg Gutfeld have a new mantra, be ready, because they're tearing through her squeaky clean image like it's Black Friday at Bed Bath & Beyond. Forget the dancing and dad jokes. This expose us is juicier than a Real Housewives reunion with wine flying in every direction. What really went down with Ellen? Why are Hollywood insiders suddenly going radio silent? And how did Greg Gutfeld end up in the middle of it all? Buckle up. This rabbit hole is lined with sequins, secrets, and spilled soy latte.
Choose article after article of people being like, Ellen's a bitch. Ellen is a nasty person. And all these staffers started to come out, not for nothing, but I know a guy, I know him very well, whose sister worked for her, who said, you were not allowed to make eye contact with Ellen in the halls of that show. If you saw her, this is not a nice person. So she eventually got canceled, but now she's coming back. She's got a Netflix special. That's the right
Once upon a time in the magical land of Hollywood, where publicists roam free and egos are bigger than Marvel. Budgets there reigned a queen with a pixie cut and a platinum smile. She danced, she hugged, she gave away giant checks like Oprah, in sneakers. Ellen DeGeneres, the patron saint of be nice, or so the legend went. But lately, the tale's taken a twist. I watched her comeback special. It felt less like a celebration and more like damage control with a laugh track. She lamented how her reputation had tanked. These days, she's about as popular as a pit bull with monkeypox, but somehow still trying to blame Trump. Behind the scenes, let's just say if Willy Wonka ran his chocolate factory like Ellen ran her show, the Oompa Loompas would have unionized by season 3. For years, Ellen projected a brand so squeaky clean you could eat off it. Sunshine wrapped in rainbows dipped in dairy-free whipped cream. But turns out, that empire of kindness was crawling with termites, whispers of heads, staffers crying in green rooms and dodging eye contact like dodgeballs at a wellness retreat.
Just the excuse. She is, Emily, I watched her comedy special. It was like a huge pity party. It was about how she was lamenting how her reputation has suffered. She's essentially as popular as a pit bull with monkeypox. But she's putting this on Trump. Do you think that she's going to be, just everybody's going to love her?
Enter Megyn Kelly. If Ellen was the empress of feel-good, Megyn was the leather jacket-wearing vigilante of hypocrisy, plowing a verbal bulldozer through the PR fantasy everyone else tiptoed around. She didn't just break the story, she kicked in the door, flipped the couch, and asked who shoved all the toxic sludge underneath it. Megyn didn't rely on hearsay, she brought receipts, or at least a high-powered opinion printer that never ran out of ink. While the media tried to brush off the Ellen allegations as just another 2020 fever dream, Megyn marched straight into the wreckage and lit a match.
Question for you on this. This is perfect for you. Because I'm seeing this week that there is an attempted comeback by somebody who did not cross one of those fateful lines of the misstepping on their sacred cows of gender or race or sexuality.
Yeah.
But she was said to be a nasty biatch, and that's Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
So her show got canceled after she had this testy exchange with Dakota Johnson, where something happened where Dakota said, I had this birthday party, and Ellen said, well, why didn't you invite me? You didn't invite me. And she said, no, I did invite you, Ellen. That's not what happened. And Ellen had blown her off and then tried to play the victim on the set with her. Anyway, it led to article after article of people being like, Ellen's a bitch. Ellen is a nasty.
But Kelly's real bombshell wasn't that Ellen allegedly made people cry. It was that no one in the media seemed to care, or worse, were too scared to say anything at all. Megyn, ever the scalpel to Hollywood's bloated ego, asked the uncomfortable question, if a conservative woman had even a fraction of Elon's workplace complaints, would she be hosting anything besides a deposition? She zoomed out and exposed the whole Hollywood PR machine for what it is, a velvet-lined racket. The red carpet isn't just for glitz. It's a magic doormat where celebs with the right opinions get to wipe their scandals clean before stepping into primetime. In Megyn's world, Ellen's downfall wasn't a tragedy, it was a reckoning. The Be Kind bumper sticker didn't match the emotional hit and run happening behind studio doors. Elon's image wasn't being attacked, it was being audited. And Megyn brought the calculator. Then came Greg Gutfeld. You know, the guy who looks like he teaches sarcasm in a survival bunker while sipping Red Bull through a crazy straw. If Megyn was the prosecutor, Gutfeld was the insult comic roasting the defendant at their own trial.
All right, so Ellen and her wife, Portia, have left their millionaire haven of Montecito for England. Now, they're saying they'll never come back in the wake of Trump's win. Do you think that's the reason why she's leaving?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean, Ellen got canceled for real a few years ago from just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like a single comment she said or something she did, just lots of people saying that working for her was a living nightmare. And
Greg Gutfeld didn't approach Ellen with a scalpel. He brought a chainsaw, not out of malice, but because mocking Hollywood hypocrisy is practically his love language. With the timing of a stand-up comic and the bite of someone who's watched one-to-many Bond villains monologue, he sized up the Ellen situation and asked the real question: since when did Be Kind translate into running a workplace that felt like a mix between a dystopian boot camp and a yoga studio run by Satans? Intern Ellen's brand had more layers than a Kardashian wedding cake. Gutfeld didn't just jab, he orchestrated a roast. In his world, Ellen was the daytime talk show version of a broken Disney animatronic, smiling on cue, oozing empathy, and somehow terrifying everyone backstage. Hugging her felt like embracing a blender. While Megyn dissected the media silence, Greg went full satire pyro. He imagined a twisted spin-off of The Ellen Show where guests wore helmets, staff communicated with post-it notes, and the daily dance break was replaced by mandatory HR briefings. He wasn't painting a picture of a kind-hearted queen betrayed by rumors. He was exposing a fortress of fake pleasantries built around a volcanic core of "don't you dare look me in the eye."
I'm just saying, like, of all people on earth to be feeling sorry for herself, Ellen DeGeneres should not be on the list.
She should at least, but make a real apology and do it.
There's no apology. It's just woe is me. I was run out of Hollywood as she speaks from this grandiose stage on Netflix. Hello, you haven't been canceled if you are doing a Netflix special. She got $20 million for the one before this. I'm sure.
What made this double takedown so explosive wasn't the target. It was the contrast in weapons. Megyn Kelly came in with surgical precision, calm, focused, and scalpel sharp. Her mission: to eviscerate the press that had coddled Ellen like a rescue kitten made of yard signs and good intentions. Gutfeld, on the other hand, showed up with a flamethrower and a grin. While Megyn exposed the identity-based double standards that let certain celebrities earn redemption arcs while others get burned at the stake, Greg wanted to know why no one had turned Ellen's Green Room into a dark comedy series. Spoiler: HBO passed it was too dark. Meanwhile, the celebrity world that once clapped like trained seals at Elon's every dad joke suddenly developed mass laryngitis. Some posted vague Instagram statements that read like they weren't sure if they'd signed NDAs, others just vanished. Ellen waltzed offstage with fewer allies than a sitcom in its third reboot. Through it all, Megyn kept hammering one point: the media treated Elon's scripted apology tour like gospel while ignoring the PR grease smeared across every sentence. Where some saw remorse, she saw a focus group's greatest hits, stitched together with desperation.
Told the Today Show, home of Matt Lauer, that the bad press actually had nothing to do with her decision. Right, and the Titanic didn't hit an iceberg, it chose to sink.
If it was why I was quitting, I would have not come back this year. I really did think about not coming back because it did, it was devastating. I am a kind person. I am a person who likes to make people happy.
No, the real reason, she says, is it was just too easy. Telling the Hollywood Reporter, quote, "When you're a creative person, you constantly need to be challenged. And as great as this show is, and as fun as it is, it's just not a challenge anymore." Well, if that's true, here's an idea. When your viewership is down 43%, why not consider that the challenge?
And Megyn posed the uncomfortable question: why do we excuse toxic behavior just because it comes from people who make us feel good? That's Elon's true sleight of hand, convincing America that smiling at celebrities equals sainthood. Meanwhile, her staff allegedly held monthly meetings titled "How to Avoid Eye Contact and Still Get Paid." Not to be outdone, Gutfeld turned Ellen's downfall into a masterclass in comedic entropy. He compared her farewell season to a hostage video filmed on a pastel set where even the plants were fecund somehow. The good vibes were faker. Watching those final episodes, he said, felt like attending a retirement party where no one remembered or cared to clap. But let's be clear, Megyn and Greg weren't just punching down out of boredom. Their critique struck a nerve because it peeled back something deeper: how much we let powerful people skate by, as long as they wear the right t-shirts and make us laugh on cue. Ellen wasn't the exception. She was the rule, just with better lighting. Megyn's final argument was simple. This isn't about canceling Ellen, it's about canceling the idea that media accountability is optional. Depending on your IMDb page. She wasn't angry that Ellen existed, she was furious that the system gave her immunity while real people quietly suffered behind the curtain.
Let her back in, Rob, because she's a lesbian, she's a leftist, and she didn't hit one of their sacred cows. Nastiness, that's their bread and butter.
Well, I think everyone, I will say, like, the resentment, I think everyone should have a chance for reconciliation. I don't think Jesus exempted anybody. And so I do, while it does, because I have been allowed back in, but I don't hold any grievance and resentment. It's very important. And I would just say for Ellen, the resentment, you have to know, you have to get over resentment to whatever addiction or addictive qualities happen. To get over it, you have to deal with resentment and address it, and then otherwise you're going to fall back.
Greg's closing shot. The entertainment industry has become a bizarre zoo, where bad behavior is forgiven if you hashtag hard enough. And Ellen, for all her dance breaks and selfie moments, was just the zookeeper who forgot to lock the gate. When Megyn Kelly and Greg Gutfeld find themselves nodding in agreement, you know something serious is happening, or the simulation is glitching. These two don't typically share oxygen, let alone a unified takedown strategy. But somehow, Elon's pastel-smothered cult of kindness managed to bridge the Megyn Gutfeld divide. And that's saying something. Megyn showed up like a lawyer with a grudge and a color-coded folder labeled receipts. She wasn't just asking who enabled Ellen, she was demanding to know why we let people in power weaponize charm while psychologically vaporizing interns. For her, this wasn't about cancellation, it was about long overdue reckoning. Because when your average boss terrorizes employees, they get fired. When Ellen did it, she got an Emmy and a gift basket from Apple.
Is truly responsible for Ellen's exodus. Shouldn't that go down as his greatest achievement in the last 8? I mean, he should get the Nobel Prize.
He's literally going to have a who's who of left. I mean, the entire 80s music catalog is gone. You got Springsteen, Cher, Madonna. I just don't know why they keep showing pictures of Aaron Rodgers with blonde hair.
Greg Gutfeld approached the Ellen saga like a raccoon with a microphone, snarky, uninvited, and absolutely ready to rummage through the trash. While Megyn Kelly delivered sharp indictments, Greg roasted marshmallows over the smoldering remains of Ellen's reputation. Justice, that was Megyn's department. Greg was here for the absurdity, a billionaire talk show host who built a brand around be kind, yet reportedly inspired so much fear her own security team considered emotional support puppies. And when you combine Megyn's scalpel with Greg's flamethrower, you don't just get a takedown, you get a 360-degree dissection of implosion. Then came the apology. Oh, the apology. A masterclass in PR tap dancing, delivered like a hostage reading a ransom note from a cue card. Her words had all the sincerity of a pop-up ad. If I made anyone feel. Stop right there. That's the linguistic equivalent of a magician saying, if you think I chopped your arm off, that's on you. Passive voice, polished regret, zero accountability. Megyn wasn't buying it. She called it what it was, a desperate tone-deaf PR maneuver soaked in denial and smugness. Greg, he compared the monologue to a rejected SNL sketch. It's like she couldn't decide if she was apologizing or accepting an Oscar, he quipped. The internet agreed loudly. Twitter turned into a roast battle. Reddit dragged her like a broken Roomba. Even Facebook antis had questions. The same audience that once danced along with Ellen started side-eyeing her every move like a toddler trying to lie about the chocolate all over their face. People didn't just stop believing Ellen, they started doubting her every smile. And then curtains. The Ellen DeGeneres show ended in 2022, not with a bang, but with a weary sigh of finally. Ratings flatlined. Fanfare vanished. Former guests ghost. The only ones truly heartbroken were the teleprompters, left unread and alone. Ellen, once daytime royalty, slipped quietly into the Malibu sunset residuals intact. Halo gone. Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly was thriving. Walking away from network TV was her best move since Netflix dumped DVDs. She built a podcast empire, raked in millions of followers, and gave viewers something they'd been starved for: unfiltered honesty. No fluff, no filters, just sharp takes and sharper truths. And Greg, the late-night outsider with a smirk and a vendetta against Hollywood elitism, he outpaced the traditional network hosts while making jokes about soy lattes and emotional support influencers. His show Gutfeld became a ratings juggernaut, proof that sarcasm, when seasoned with common sense and contempt for Hollywood nonsense, is exactly what audiences are hungry for. What we're seeing isn't just a takedown, it's a cultural shift. We're migrating away from polished, smile, for the camera, personas and toward voices that embrace the mess. Ellen represented a fame machine built on illusion. And no matter how sparkly, illusions fade in a post-Ellen world. Viewers don't want hugs on camera. They want receipts, realness, and a little roasted ego on the side. Megyn's closing line could have been printed on a coffee mug. Ellen's true talent wasn't kindness, it was branding kindness and hoping no one checked the expiration date. When Ellen finally exited her show, it wasn't with a triumphant bow, it was with the sad hiss of a balloon losing air. After 19 seasons of forced grins and celebrity sycophancy, she didn't fall from grace. She slid out quietly, awkward dance move, and a well-timed fade to black. Megyn moved on, launching another podcast episode dissecting the next cultural myth. Greg got back to torching anyone who says content creator with a straight face. And Ellen, probably pacing her Malibu mansion, wondering which staffer she's still legally allowed to text. So what did we learn? That be kind is meaningless without consistent action, that dancing on TV doesn't exempt you from accountability, and that if Megyn Kelly is holding a media microscope and Greg Gutfeld is wielding a Molotov cocktail of sarcasm, you might want to cancel your afternoon taping and double-check your HR file. Because in Hollywood, the only thing scarier than bad press is when the audience stops clapping and starts listening.